I haven't spoken about homosexuality with my children ever before because my son is 8 and my daughter is 6. And it's something that it doesn't come in your immediate scope of things to sort of talk to your kids about. But it so happened that my husband was playing a homosexual in his film. जो बंदा आपके सामने है, irrespective of caste, culture, gender, whatever, or preferences, that person deserves dignity. How can you not do that? We need to have real life incidents happening around where women are respected, and such an act is sort of shunned. There was a time when my daughter said, "Mama, आज तो Saturday आपकी chemotherapy नहीं है." I was like, "तुझे बड़ा पता है chemotherapy? Do you even know what that is?"
This is the Mother's Day special with Tahira Kashyap. We all know that Tahira, in her own right, has achieved so much. She's a wonderful writer. She's a motivational speaker. She's done so many other things in life. And today we are going to get into all that aspects and, of course, motherhood. Motherhood, you make motherhood look really easy. You always look like you sort of know what you're doing. So maybe we should start there.
No, no. I think those people who don't know anything at all look the most sorted.
Really?
No, so I think it's a phenomena, it's a process that each and every person approaches in their own way. It's an experience. And so no matter how many parenting books are there or whatever apps are there, by the end of it, it is so personal. It is a very humane thing to do. And
Yeah.
every child is different, every parent is different, every relationship is different. So I think everybody has a unique way of approaching things. And of course, I do have my moments when I get flustered, but overall, I'm quite enjoying the process.
Of course, and before I go ahead in the conversation, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, of course, all the mothers have to be appreciated throughout the day and throughout the year. Tell me the role of your mother in your life. Tell me how you have got influenced by the way she lived her life.
Yeah, mom. My mom is a rock star. I think everybody's parents, that's how they feel towards their moms, and that's truly so because they give up a lot. They adapt themselves. They change a lot of their lifestyles and with the way they live, just so as to make the most conducive environment for the child to sort of grow up in. And I have been fortunate enough to have been provided by the same by my parents. Both of my set of my parents have always been working. My father and my mother. My mother was teaching at a school. She's always been an educationalist, and I think there was, of course, she was there for me, but there's a lot of times, but I could see that she's missing in my life, and I used to begrudge that a lot for the longest time. Because I used to see my friends whose parents, who's like the mom in the relationship, was always at home and taking care of everything. The tiffin used to be absolutely set. The uniforms were all clean. But when it came to me, it was not so. And at that point of time, I was really holding it up against her. But today, my heart is so full of gratitude because I know today, seeing a working mom and seeing how she never gave up on her struggles, I should not be giving up on mine. So she has been the biggest source of strength. And I'm just so glad that she set an example for me to follow.
I would like to also know, Tahira, that how has this quarantine been for you? Quarantining with uh, Ayushman and the kids together, because I think none of y'all have been together for such a long time at a stretch. I want to know what are the ups and downs. I'm sure not everything is rosy, so tell me about it.
Yeah. No, to begin with the downs only. The first 10 days, we all wanted to kill each other. I think my kids wanted to disown us as parents. I didn't want to see their faces. I don't think they wanted to see my face. So, the first few days, of course, because we've never lived together for such a long time at a stretch, it was a fairly new phenomena which was happening in our lives. But after those few hiccups, I think all of us have sort of found a rhythm to sort of coexist, and now we are enjoying each other, and then we also know where to give each other the space because अब तो 40 दिन से ऊपर हो चुके हैं, so we all know that right now I should not push this button. Even when it comes to my daughter, I know where to sort of draw limits that I don't sort of overparent her, and even the kids know the same for me. So it is a very happy mutual coexisting thing which is happening right now. Earlier on, ऐसा नहीं था, and we have been trying to be little productive and sort of add some value in our lives all throughout this quarantine. And then I took to painting, which I used to do as a kid, and I started enjoying it. In fact, the evening time was solely dedicated to us painting, where kids and me used to paint, and I used to play some nice music for us. And then in between all those moments, I don't know how somehow stories started brewing inside of me. And I started with my lockdown tales, which is there on my Instagram. I don't know if you've had an opportunity or you've
I
seen it or
did.
you've not. You did?
I
Great.
have.
Great.
It's lovely. I love it.
Thank you. So I think storytelling has always been a part of our lives, no?
Yeah.
So I thought, instead of just writing it and just putting it as a post, let me narrate the story.
Yeah.
And the thematic unity is that all stories are about a lockdown. So I'm really enjoying that right now, and it's getting good response as well. So all this is happening in the quarantine.
And like true artists, like you've been doing storytelling through your videos and entertaining. Aishwan is doing this wonderful poetry. How do you think this world is going to change you?
See, I can talk about myself, and I also feel, actually, on behalf of everyone, I feel there's going to be a new world order for sure for all of us to follow. There are going to be new rules, how we live our lives. But I think our takeaway from this entire experience should be in the most positive spirit. We should really look as to why things have happened around us. Why is it happening? So the best answer would be to know that however we are living up present is because of the causes that we have created in the past, and whatever future we want to see, we need to make those causes right now. And this sort of thinking comes from my study, which from my practice, I practice Nichiren's Buddhism. And it's in one of the guidelines and guidances, it was said that, um, to know what your future will look like, you need to make those sort of causes right now. And I feel this pandemic, which has taken over, and the reason that all of us have been locked up inside our houses, is for a reason. We really need to understand the concept of connectivity, that we all are one. My happiness can't be at the cost of somebody else's unhappiness. It is bound to come back to me. We are connected to that extent. So I think the concept of oneness is really, really surging forth right now, and we need to understand that, and need to really respect humanity. I think this has been my biggest takeaway from this lockdown, and I really hope that once all of us sort of bounce back into our normal routine, into the secular life, all of us have something to contribute and some value to add, instead of just sort of taking away from Earth. We should give now.
What are the few things that you always remember while you're bringing up your kids, especially boys? I remember why I'm bringing this up. I remember this lovely post that you put up during Shubh Mangal Sada Savdhan about how your boy came and asked you, and you asked them, oh, your father's playing a homosexual in the film, and then he very offhanded, very normally said, oh, so what's wrong in that, or in that context of it, which I think was a beautiful tale. I remember talking to Ayushman about it as well. You have really well brought up kids. I want to know, what are the few things that you always remember, you try to give to those kids, and tell me about this particular moment, and were there more moments like this that sort of take you aback?
Honestly, I think my biggest, whenever, whatever comes down to, whenever it's like sort of telling them something or guiding them or giving them advice or parenting, the first and the foremost thing that holds importance in our lives is humanity. There is nothing at the cost of, if something is hurting another person, every person is worth dignity. Every person deserves love. Every person deserves to live. Now, if that person is different from you, really, do you think that we should the liberty of loving, and should that be taken away from that person?
Yeah.
So, irrespective of how and what and who that person in front of you is, as long as it's a living being, it deserves dignity.
Yeah.
So that has been my prime focus. I think that's what that's how we behave, I think. And that's how I think I haven't spoken about homosexuality with my children ever before, because my son is 8 and my daughter is 6. And it's something that it doesn't come in your immediate scope of things to sort of talk to your kids about. But it so happened that my husband was playing a homosexual in his film, and I knew that he's at this age that a lot of kids in his class, they do go for movies with their parents, and they would be discussing. So I didn't want him to be at sort of a in a situation which he really doesn't know how to react to. So I wanted to sensitize him, and I asked him, and I was so taken aback by the answer. Like you said, I was like, is it okay if what homosexual is or what gay is? Sorry. So he said, yes, I know what a gay is. And I was taken aback. I thought, मैं तो अभी science की class शुरू करूँगी, बताऊँगी कि क्या होता है. He was like, but of course, he's a kid. There's no sexual connotation to it. It's only on the basis of love. So he said it's a boy who likes a boy. And I was like, do you have a problem with it? He was like, no. What's wrong with that? And I was really really taken aback. And it doesn't come from a place of teaching. It comes from a place of what they experience around them.
Absolutely.
Somewhere in our life, I think me and my husband or people around my kids must have behaved in a sensitized manner, in a beautiful manner, seeing a person who is a queer or who is whatever. And probably that has been my son's takeaway, because I had never spoken to him about this. So it really, he was speaking as if he has probably seen it or he's okay with it. He was conditioned to the idea of
Yeah.
it being okay. So I feel that really holds true for all parents, that your actions speak louder than words. The idea, I did not obviously give some sex education to an 8-year-old child. We were not talking about any sexual connotation. The only thing, the premise was love. And every child, every being understands love. So that's what I think should be the focus of not just our communication but our actions. I think the future generation will feed off from the actions that we sort of do right now.
Among the two of you, Ayushman and you, are you the tougher parent, or well, how does it work? Are you the good cop? Are you the bad cop?
I think both of us take turns, but because his schedule really involves traveling a lot, I end up being the little bad cop too. But I think we divide, because nowadays even I give up. I was like, "Mujhe nahi karna. I can't do this now." So then he takes over. So I think we take turns, and but kids are very intelligent and they manipulate. They know this will work with mom and this will work with dad.
Dad.
They know they work the way around. So, yeah.
So they are the ones controlling you, not the other way around, right?
I
In a
guess
way.
I think yeah, you give in at times, but at
Yeah.
times you need to sort of hold the reins. So yeah.
Tell me what are your viewpoints on this? People have brought, time and again has been brought up that, parents have to be careful and parents need to really tell the boys to respect and all of that. Of course, I still feel it's the individual responsibility of the minor as well, especially in the case of the boys' locker room, because you can't let that go away of the bad behavior that's happened. But how do you look at it from a point of view that where does parenting come in here?
So I think apart from parenting, there's a lot of condition. You have to really sort of tweak the conditioning of the mindset, of our immediate responses, of our immediate reactions, of the media exposure, of what they see, what leads to heroism. What I'm saying, these are impressionable minds by the end of it. But of course, the onus definitely lies on them and on the parents and on the society as such. We really need to make a conducive and intelligent environment for people to know, like I said, going back to what I said to your questions before, that every person deserves dignity. We really really need to sort of understand, and I don't know why is it so difficult for us to understand, but really has to be drilled into the DNA of a being, that जो बंदा आपके सामने है, irrespective of caste, culture, gender, whatever, or preferences, that person deserves dignity. How can you not do that? So I think along with our education in school, social sciences तो होते थे, but we really have to sort of drill it into our system that we need to respect, we need to love, we need to have dignity for other life. And of course, the ways to amp up the same thought is by having regular talks with your kids, by having that sort of a media exposure, perhaps films, perhaps stories, perhaps books, but have that environment around your child where it, and actually it should be on a very organic basis also. अब जरूरी नहीं कि किताब पढ़ के ही मुझे देखना है कि एक औरत को अच्छे से ट्रीट किया जाता है या एक मूवी में ही देखूंगी, मुझे आई वांट टू सी इट इन माय रियल लाइफ टू. वी नीड टू हैव रियल लाइफ इंसिडेंट्स हैपनिंग अराउंड वेयर women are respected, and such an act is sort of shunned. So I think it will really come from a place of observing real time and real life incidents.
Since I've interviewed Ayushman so much, but I read one of his interviews, and I remember that he had said in an interview about how you have played such an important influence in his life. And he said that, I have literally grown from a boy to a man. I might have little traces of misogyny in me, but, Tahira really helped me and groomed me. I want to know a little about that and explain. And I really think that's so important. We sometimes, even when you have partners and as women, we tend to not go out and correct people or the partners, thinking that it's going to be a clash of opinion. But it's great that I read that, and I have so much respect for you for that matter. Can you explain to me why did he say that, and your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's he's just being very magnanimous in sort of saying that I have played an instrumental part. I think when you two people are living together, they rub off their personalities on each other, and it's always a give and take. I have learned a lot of things from him, and yeah, when it comes to a mindset, so I remember we were in college and we both belong to Chandigarh. It's a small town, and like I said, in my home, the environment was completely different. I've always seen my parents work. I've seen my father contribute in the kitchen. He had his chores, and there was nothing not manly about helping the woman out in the kitchen. So we were in college, and then I think we sort of thought that okay, we've been dating for so many years, we might head towards marriage. And he was like, okay, maybe after marriage, no, you should not work. And I just laughed. I was like, why? Why will I not laugh? Why would I? What I work? I'm doing the same degree that you're doing in the same educational environment. We're the same age. Why won't I do that? And I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt that it did make him think, instead of reacting and retaliating in a very aggressive way. No, मैं ये क्या बात है? No, he actually heard me out, and he reasoned it out, and it made sense to him. And that's also giving the benefit of doubt to a person who was brought up. So it's all of us can change. We really need to sort of have an open mind and put logic and reasoning into the sort of conditioning that we have had for so far.
You've also been an inspiration in so many ways, because you spoke about the journey that you had through your cancer and how you overcame it, and you've spoken about it, written about it, and we all know how you fought that strongly, of course, with family and friends being with you. But tell me, I'd wanted to know, I want to explain to Del, if there are mothers struggling with talking about their about illnesses or anything to their children, especially in this case, like you said, how to break it down to them, and how did you sort of have that conversation with your children and with your loved ones at the time? And it's important to do that, right? And of course, how also how they stood by you.
So, yeah, it's not something that you are prepared for. I'd say it doesn't happen to everyone, and with God's grace and blessing, it should not happen to anyone. But it was a situation that none of us had predicted, and I happened to be in that situation. The only way was to move forward, and I think my kids, they were too small. This was a year and a half back, so yeah, so around like 5 and 7. So the children were really small, 5 and 7. They were too young to sort of understand what cancer is, what are the repercussions, what the treatment is, what the diagnosis is, what the disease is. It's very difficult. They only understand bukhar and zukam. They don't understand anything beyond that. But because of my physical changes, there was lots which was happening on the outside. My kids could see a transformation happening, and that's when they knew that it's something more than just khansi and zukam. Before going in for my operation, I told them that I'll be gone for about 4 to 5 days, and I'm going to come back with 2 stitches, so no bouncing on me. So they thought that I've got only 2 stitches, so we're not going to bounce on mom. But on the last day, before I was being relieved by the hospital, discharged by the hospital, I had requested my kids to come and look me up because I really wanted them to see that it's not, I have not gone for a business trip or I have not gone for an excursion trip.
You don't want
And
to
I
lie.
and I didn't want to lie to my kids because kids do understand. The idea is to be really forthcoming with your kids in the most sensitized manner. So they saw, and I was pretty okay after the 5 6 days. I looked presentable, and they came and we spent 5 to 6 hours. And the next day I was back home, and they were thrilled. Of course, they saw the pain, they saw whatever, but they also knew that she's going to be okay. So I think all of us have been, the biggest source of strength for each other. And yeah, so there was a time when my daughter said, "Mama, आज तो Saturday आपकी chemotherapy नहीं है." I was like, "तुझे बड़ा पता है chemotherapy? Do you even know what that is?" So they got used to listening, hearing these jargons so much in the house कि आज chemotherapy है, ये है, वो है, कि they were also flaunting the knowledge. So they don't understand much, but yeah, that's what it was.
But kudos to you, Tahira. I think you are, in its true sense, an inspiration to a lot of us. And on a lighter note, I was talking to Nina Gupta ji, and Nina ji was doing this really funny videos on Instagram, and again another wonderful woman. She made a video about how everybody is staying together
Yeah.
in this lockdown after a long time, like for at long stretches, and you sort of become unbearable. Tell me, how do you sort of wade your way through moments of irritation, and because when it comes to Ayushman and you?
No, so first few days I told you we all were ready to kill each other,
Correct.
including the kids. They were done with us,
Ah.
we were done with them, they were done with each other, we all were done with each other. But after that, we found our sanity, and when we started doing our own thing, I think the best part about me and my husband is that we understand space, that both of us require that. And the thing for us is there's a very big congruent area when it comes to our interests and our hobbies. So the day I intend to write almost every day. I want to write. So the day I have written something, I share it with him, and then if he has written something, then he shares it with me. तो हमारा पूरा time almost उसी में sharing में निकल जाता है.
That's a
तो
good tip for
writer's
people.
block. हाँ जी, sorry.
That's a good tip for people also. Please continue.
So बस वही I said कि sharing is caring में सब कुछ निकल जाता है दिन हमारा, तो इतना ज़्यादा the tips are not there. But of course, when we do tend to get to each other, we just take two different rooms and just stay there for some while and take a moment and then come back. So yeah.
Take a moment and come back is a good tip for anybody who thinks that you all are having bad, those days. So please, sharing is caring. Please be creative and do something, right? To keep yourself positive is so important.
Absolutely. I think even if it's creative or not creative, I think the idea is to add value and have sort of a fluid mission each day. You get up, you need to have something charted out for yourself, not to the extent of pressurizing you, but to the extent of at least challenging you to sort of get up and do something, even if it's cleaning your fan, even if it's cleaning the sofa. You will find happiness and creativity in that as well. But the idea is to have a fluid mission each day, and the lockdown will become a nice, valuable lesson for all of us.
Yeah, and I especially would like to refer to that video where I saw all of you all literally making stuff for a celebration, right?
Yes.
For a birthday celebration. You all made it from the scratch. You took these little things, and all of you all as a family, Ayushman, the kids, you joined together to make this. It was such a fun moment, wasn't it?
It was. It became the most beautiful birthday. We never realized that this would be, and it was such a big source of happiness for my daughter, seeing all of us working around the clock. And we had started preparations 10 days in advance because I really the first thing is balloons lagao, pulao, philado, ye kar lo. But I couldn't find anything at that point of time. All the shops were shut. Right now, it's still become a little better. But at that time, it was only the essentials were open. So then we started painting. We were painting as it is, and then we decided let's just make a nice banner for her. Make some decorations. Let's make our own streamers, and we upcycled, recycled many things. And apart from doing this activity, we found really we found joy in it, and that was a moment where all of us connected with each other. So yeah, it was really special.
If you have a message for all the mothers and women out there, what would you like to tell them?
To all the mothers, first of all, I want to wish them a very happy Mother's Day. You all are rock stars. We all are rock stars. We are whatever we are doing, we're doing to the best of our abilities. My only two bit is that the only one thing, your kids will become very good at math. Your kids will become very good at biology and whatever. They will really become good with general knowledge and everything. But the one thing that they really require from you is to tell them to appreciate and love humanity, to give respect to each and every person, and to drill it in them that every person, like I said before, is worthy of dignity and respect. So whether that's man, woman, girl, uncle, auntie, anyone, homosexual or not, or a queer or whoever it is, every person deserves to live with dignity and respect. So that's my two bit. If this Mother's Day, all of us can sort of drill it into the system, it will be very good.
Wonderfully put, very aptly put. Thank you once again. And like Tahira said, a happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. And Tahira, you are truly a superwoman, and we love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Watch E-Town News Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. only on Zoom.